Hey, I'm Jake, and today I'm talking about how to get a job in the animation industry. It could also apply to video games, maybe publishing too, but I'm going to go over strategies and some things you should be thinking about and doing to try to land that job. Okay, so this video is a response to a question that I get a lot, whether I'm doing a speaking engagement or I'm guest teaching or visiting a classroom doing demos or just talking to students at the college level or even high school level. How do I get a job in the animation industry? How do I break through, and what do I need to do to get that job? And it's more than just having a good portfolio and sending it out there. I think there's a certain strategy that you need to follow to try and get this job, and this is just from my perspective of having worked in the animation industry for, I think it was 11 years that I worked in the animation industry, and just knowing people now who are in positions of either running animation companies or hiring people in animation companies. These are just strategies that I think you can follow to land a job and to get that dream job of working at an animation studio. Now I'm going to focus specifically on getting a job in the art department because that's where I worked, but I think you can extrapolate this information, apply it to becoming an animator or getting a job in the modeling department or getting a job in the lighting department or the rigging department, things like that, rendering. There's so many different jobs in animation. Also, I think you could apply this to video games, getting a job at a video game company. There's a lot of overlap between what creative people do at an animation studio and also what they do at a video game company. And I think it could also apply somewhat to publishing as well. Really, this all boils down to three specific factors that are at play. Number one, you have to have the ability. You got to be able to do the job. Number two, you have to know people in the industry, or at least have people be familiar with who you are. And number three, timing or luck. Or providence, whatever you want to call it, that has to come into play as well. I want to take these three factors, unpack them a little bit, and use them to develop a strategy that you can use to try and get a job in the animation industry. All right, let's talk about that first one, ability. And again, I'm coming at this from an angle of trying to get a job in the art department in the animation industry. But again, you can apply this to other departments and to, I think, other disciplines and other industries as well. So the first one is ability, all right? If you don't know your fundamentals, start right now on learning those fundamentals. Just learn how to draw really well. Just be a good drawer. Have drawings that look nice with just a pencil on a simple sheet of paper. Learn how to do perspective. Learn how to do light and shadow. Learn proportion. Learn composition. Learn color theory. Learn how to draw your characters from different angles and in different poses. Understand anatomy, not of just human anatomy, but also of animal anatomy. Understand how to simplify that anatomy. Understand design principles and how to design appealing characters and locations and environments. Apply design theory to plants, to buildings, to props and vehicles. If you're working in an art department, you're going to need to know how to do all these things, and one day you might be doing a character design, the other day you might be designing a cheese grater or something like that, depending on what the needs of the film are. I know when I worked at Blue Sky Studios, one project would be designing cave structures and formations, cave formations, and then I was also designing plants, and those two things are pretty far apart in subject matter, but principles apply to both of them. The same design principles apply to both of them. So learn your fundamentals and just get good at your craft. Get to the level so that when you flip through an art of book and you're looking at that art of stuff, you could say, okay, my work can compete with the artwork that I see in this book. If you're not producing art at that level of what's in those art of books, then the studio's not going to hire you. They're not going to want you in the art department. So get good first. Don't worry about anything else until you're working at a professional level, or your work is at a professional level. Okay, now that said, having a broad understanding of how to do all that kind of stuff is good, but I think you need to focus in and decide what you're going to be. Are you a character designer? Are you an environment designer? Are you a storyboard artist? Are you a visual development artist? You need to zero in on a specific subject matter. A lot of these art departments are very compartmentalized. So you have your character designers and you have your environment designers. Sometimes there's overlap. I think your chances of getting a job are better if you have an area of expertise or an area of focus. So a portfolio that you're building might show, hey, I'm an environment designer. I can draw interiors, I can draw exteriors, I can do sci-fi stuff, I can also do nature stuff. But look, here's also a section on my character design as well, and I can, if needed, I can do character designs too. And so the studio looks at that and they think, oh, we need an environment designer. This is great. And in a pinch, if we have extra characters to design, we also know we can hand this off to this person. If I were you, I would spend a year building this portfolio. Just a year buckled down, focused on building this portfolio, and say, once a week, make a really nice polished finished design that you can put in your portfolio. Maybe it's 6 months, but I think 6 months to a year is a good amount of time to really focus in and work on this portfolio. I don't think, unless you're really, really good, I don't think that the portfolio you come out of art school with is going to be enough to get a job at one of the higher tiered animation studios. Maybe one of the lower tiered animation studios, or maybe an entry level position, but I think if you want to get, if you really want to land that dream job in an art department at a Disney or a DreamWorks or a Sony or a Blue Sky or something like that, you're going to have to spend a year just buckled down, focused on building this portfolio, doing your character designs, doing your environment designs, and really fleshing that out and finding your voice and finding your style. So go get a copy of your favorite Art of books from the studios that you want to work for. Look at what the artists are doing there and try to build a portfolio that matches the art that's going on in there. Maybe you spend 3 months just doing master copies, where you go through and you copy what those artists are doing, so you can really get a feel for the design and for, I guess, the design language that studio is known for. And then you apply that to your own designs. Now, what do you need in that portfolio? I think your portfolio needs 20 to 25 pages of art. I think you don't want to go too much longer than that. You don't want to have it be shorter than that. But I think in that 20-25 page range, it shows that there's enough work there that shows that you know what you're doing and you can consistently do it over and over again. Too little shows not enough. It might not show enough range. And I think showing too much, 30, 35 pages is just overkill. They don't need to see that much. So in those 20 to 25 pages, I would do 9 pages of fully rendered, nice illustrations. Maybe they're story moments. Maybe they're really polished, fully colored character designs. And then to match those 9 pages of finished, polished images, I would have 9 pages of your exploration, your studies, all the little sketches and the thumbnails and things that led up to that. Art directors want to see not only that you can do a finished thing, but they want to see your thought process. They want to see how you got there and see how you work. So those 9 pages of finished stuff, and then those 9 pages where you're exploring and you're concepting these things out, have that focused on your area of expertise. So have those be your 9 character designs or your 9 environment designs, and then have the rest of the pages to fill it out. The next 5 to 6 pages showing your range, that you can also do environment designs, or you can do a little bit of prop design or vehicle design or things like that. One thing you might want to do is just create your own property. You're thinking, well, what should I design for this? Create your own property and just show that you've got ideas, you've got your own ideas, and you're developing them and you're thinking about them and you're working on them. They want to see your creativity. You might show that you might come up with 2 or 3 things that show that you can do animals, or you can do a medieval environment or a forest environment, and then show that you can do buildings or human characters, things like that. Maybe you don't want to create your own property, or you don't want to show your own property. Maybe what you do is you redesign an already established property. So you might say, here's my version of Pinocchio, or here's my version of The Little Mermaid. Maybe where you flip things, where she's a human that wants to be a mermaid, or Pinocchio, it's been done that it's a sci-fi thing, but what would it be if it was like caveman Pinocchio? I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. But the main thing in creating this portfolio is it just needs to show your creativity and your ability to work. Okay, so that's ability. The next factor that comes into play is your familiarity or the network that you build, or your friendships in the industry. How do you go about doing that? Well, first things, people just need to be familiar with who you are and what you're doing. So you need a website, and you need a social media presence, and you need to be out there sharing your work and showing what you're capable of. So I'd make a website that showcases your work, have it be yourname.com. So my website's mrjakeparker.com. So find your name or a variation of your name, and that just makes it easier for people to remember who you are. If you do something like superhotdog.com, unless you go by the name Super Hot Dog, people might not associate your artwork with you, the person. And when you go into a meeting to meet someone or an interview or something like that, you're going to be giving your real name. So your website, your online persona, things like that should also be anchored to your real name. Okay, so you've got your website that you've put your portfolio on, but also make a PDF of your portfolio. And you want to have that handy so that you can email it to people who make the hiring decisions. So a website with your portfolio on it and a PDF with your portfolio on it. Okay, so for your social media strategy, what I would do is make sure that your Twitter account, your Facebook account, your Instagram account, your Tumblr account, those things are all associated with your name, like I said. And then share your journey. Tell people what it is you want to do. Say, I'm a concept artist, currently working independently, but someday I want to get a job at Disney Animation. Tell people what your story is, where you come from, and where you want to go. And what happens is over the years, people start get invested in your dream as well, and they know what you're striving for. And it might be, if you're a student in college or in high school, and you know that this job is 5 years away, you could say, okay, my goal is in 5 years to work for Disney Animation, and come with me and watch me build my portfolio. I'm going to tell you the things that I'm learning along the way, and I'm going to share with you the things that I'm doing. And at first you're going to have 10 followers. Pretty soon that's going to turn to 100 followers, and pretty soon people are going to know you as the person who does character designs or environment designs, and they do them in this style that you've developed and they've watched you develop. And they also know that you have this goal to get a job at this animation studio. And when that day comes, when you actually land that job, you better believe that those followers are going to be so happy for you. They're going to share it and spread the word. And not only do I think that'll be good for exposure and you as an artist, but I think it also just shows to other people that this is possible, that this is a thing that someone can do. They'll see the hard work, they'll see everything that went into it, and know that if they put that time into it and they put that effort into it, they're also capable of doing that as well. And one of the important things too with social media is you share your personality, and it shows that you're a human and that you're likable. If you're not likable, if you're someone who doesn't get along well with others, you're not going to do very well. So I probably wouldn't share that. Okay, while you're doing all this, you also want to make friends in the industry. So how do you do that? If you live in Los Angeles, where predominantly all of the animation industry is, and there's a few things happening in Texas and a few things happening on the East Coast, but wherever if you find yourself in one of these areas, then go to meetups where animators meet up. There's a thing called CTN, which happens every November in Burbank, and that's that's an animation show. It's where all of the animators meet and talk about what they're working on, and the studios look at portfolios, and you get to show your portfolio to other people, and you get to hang out and go to parties and just hang out with other artists. And it's really I don't know, it's really a cool event, and it's something I've been doing for the last 7 or 8 years. And it's for me, it's just like a great way to reconnect with people who I've worked with, and also to meet new people in the industry as well. So go to those events. If you live in those areas, anytime there's an animation meetup, or there's some kind of public showing or a screening, a director's screening, things like that, go to those things. Don't be shy. Introduce yourself, and start making friends, real friendships. Maybe we should go hang out afterwards. That'd be great. Me and these other people are going to do this thing. You want to come with us? Make genuine, true friendships, and don't do it just for the sake of networking. But I think you want to make real friends in the animation industry, and the way that you make a real friendship is it's all based on trust. I think if you're very honest with who you are and what you're doing, and you're not using people to get ahead, but you're trying to make genuine friendships, then I think that process becomes a lot easier. Now, let's say you don't live in LA or New York or one of these creative hotspots. There's the internet. So what you do is you go online and you follow everyone who works at these studios. Follow them, see what they're tweeting about, see what they're posting on Instagram about, and you engage with them. You comment on their posts. You don't just say, that's cool, thumbs up, but you leave really good thought out comments that show that you're thinking about the things that they're posting, and shows that you're genuine. And over time, 100 of these comments later, this person's eventually going to realize, this person really cares about what I'm doing as an artist, and they really care about my art, and they'll pay attention to you, and they might go and see your work, then click on your profile and see what work that you're doing, and you might get a follow from one of them, and that might blossom into a nice online friendship. There's many people I've met online who I consider friends that I maybe only met in person once or twice, or maybe never. But over time, you build a relationship of trust with them, and then you can also go to them with questions or to ask for advice. And most people are really good about that, about giving advice. And you say to them, hey, we've been interacting online for a couple of years now. I've been working on my portfolio. You've seen my work before. What do you think is the best way to get a job at Disney? Or what's the best way to get a job at DreamWorks? And they can give you advice. They can give you insider information. They could say, I heard layoffs are going to happen at this place. You might want to focus your efforts on going to this place. And so really, once you've built these genuine friendships, people talk to each other, people share things with each other. And what might happen is, too, they might think, we've got a spot opening up. I know this person wants to get a job here. Let's see if they're available. Let's ask them. Okay, so you've built your portfolio, you have your online presence established, you're building relationships in person and online. And there's another thing called studio recruiters or talent recruiters. Every studio has a recruiter, and their number one job, their job is to find people to work at that studio, and they're always looking for creative people. So what you do is you go on LinkedIn, and you type in recruiter animation Disney or recruiter animation DreamWorks, and you find who those people are, and you just send them a message, and you say to them, hey, I'm so-and-so, here's my portfolio, I'm interested in getting a job at DreamWorks. I don't know if there's positions open right now or not, but I just want to let you know that I just want to let you know that I'm on the map here, and if there is a spot open, I'd love to have a shot for it. And you see if they get back to you or not. It's their job to weed out creatives and to figure out who's perfect for the job that they're trying to fill and who's not quite there. All these people are really nice, and it's their job to talk to creative people who want these jobs. So they will engage with you if you engage with them. The other thing you could say is, I'm going to be in CTN in November. I'd like to meet you in person. Is there anything I can do to prepare for that? Would you be up for meeting in person, or could I schedule an appointment with that? All you're doing is you're just getting on their radar. And once there's a couple of positive interactions with you via emailing or messaging or something like that, when you finally do meet them in person and they see your work and they find out that you're not a weirdo, but that you're a person who gets along well with others, and you're not awkward in conversation, you're going to be, in the forefront of their mind when the time comes and a job opens up and they think, I should contact this person and say, hey, we've got a job position opening, you should try for it. The main thing is when you finally submit your portfolio, you submit that PDF, you email that in, and the artists in the art department look at it, and the art directors look at it, and the people who are in positions of power to decide whether or not you're hired look at it, they recognize you, they're familiar with you, they like your work, and they know you're not, you're someone who can get along well with others, who's gonna work hard, who's gonna deliver, and really be a team member, a person who can flesh out and really round out the team that they're building to work on this project. That's what you want to do. Okay, and the last thing is luck, timing, providence, call it whatever you want. All of these things are moving parts, and they have to come into the right order in order for you to land that job. I want you to remember that things rarely go according to the timeline that you set for yourself. So, maybe it's 6 months later than the goal you set for yourself to have a job by, don't be frustrated in that. What I want you to do is to be open to serendipity, to be open to chance, to be open that, okay, maybe it didn't happen now, but it could happen next year. In the meantime, look out for opportunities that may seem like they're not the right fit. Look at them from every angle. You might think, oh, this isn't the job that I was shooting for that I want, but you might see, some opportunity there. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to grow as an artist and expand your range by having that job while you're waiting for that dream job to happen. The main thing is just have this big picture mentality. Know that if you're in your early 20s, know that you've got a 30-year career ahead of you, and a lot of things can happen between, age 25 and 55. And if something doesn't happen in the next 6 months or the next year, you've got plenty of time to make things work and to land that job. I didn't get a job at Blue Sky Studios until I was 28. And before then, I worked at a bunch of smaller studios, working on my portfolio, meeting people in the industry, building up this network of friendships, so that eventually I could get that job working at a feature animation studio. But it happened well after, the time that I was in school or anything like that. So have that big picture mentality and be patient. And the last thing is just remember to use that time to your advantage. Use it to get better at your portfolio, to build your craft, to master your craft. Use it to build friendships and relationships. So that when the time comes that someone says, hey, we've got a job opening for you, you are so ready for it. And you can deliver and you can go land that job. All right, I hope that was helpful. These are just some things that I was thinking about that I wanted to share with you guys. Again, this is just my strategy, the strategy that I would probably go about to get an animation job. There's 100 other ways to land a job, but this is just some common sense stuff that I think people can do to get themselves closer to getting that dream job in one of those art departments or whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's video games or work as an animator or a modeler or try to get into publishing. Whatever it is you want to do, just remember you've got to be good at what you do. So work on your abilities, try to master your craft. You've got to know people in those industries and have people know who you are, and then you just have to wait for the right time. Okay guys, I just want to say thanks for watching this video and remind you that this video is made possible by svslearn.com. There's tons of classes on there. If you want to learn those fundamentals, if you want to level up, check it out. I think there's 60 classes on there that are all available for $15 a month, which is a really good price right now. I'm currently working on a reboot of How to Draw Everything. I'm super pumped about this class. I'm breaking down the way that I draw so that it's easy to understand. I think someone with limited drawing ability can go through these steps and go through these techniques that I'm teaching and actually turn themselves around and become, I think, a capable artist. I'm talking about the elements, the proper elements. I'm talking about the fundamental elements of drawing. I'm talking about the techniques that I do, the tools that I use, and all the principles that kind of put all these things together to make cool drawings. So check that out. It's going to be out next week, maybe in a week, maybe in 2 weeks, but I'll definitely tell you guys about it here. All right, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.